Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Sushmita and today I'm going to talk about this beautiful book that I read, Stone Blind by Natalie Haynes. So I have to be honest, I read this book about a year ago and also at a time when I was actually sick. And this book was so beautiful that it helped me at that time of my life. And today is a holiday for me, and so I decided to pick this book up again last night, and I read it till late at night, and I am here to talk about it. Even with my wet hair and all, I just want to talk about this book. Stone Blind is a mythological retelling which tells us the story of Medusa. There are different versions of Medusa's life. In some versions, Medusa is a serpent-haired goddess whose gaze turns anything to stone. And in other versions, Medusa is a beautiful priestess of Athena, and she falls in love with Poseidon, and they get intimate in the temple of Athena, as a result of which Athena punishes Medusa by turning her hair into snakes and giving her the curse that her gaze would turn anything to stone. And then there are other versions in which Medusa is violated by Poseidon, and Athena, getting angry, unable to take revenge from Poseidon for desecrating her temple, she punishes Medusa. In this version, Natalie Haynes imagines Medusa as a mortal in a family of Gorgons. So Medusa is a mortal child of Keto and Phorcys. These are some sea gods. And after her birth, Phorcys leaves Medusa near her Gorgon sisters, Steno and Uriel. And these Gorgons, they raise Medusa with lots of love and affection. So Medusa is a mortal child who grows up being loved and cared for by her sisters, until this character, Perseus, comes, and in a bid to save his mother from marrying a king she doesn't want to marry, he beheads Medusa and brings that head back to the king in exchange for his mother. This is a very common story, right? This is a story that has so many retellings, but Natalie Haynes writes of Medusa with so much depth, so much love, and she puts so much of affection into her and her relationship between her sisters that you find her so endearing and you feel like a part of their family, and you end up sympathizing and you end up wishing well for that family. Here Medusa grows up as this sole mortal in a family of immortals, being cared for and being loved, and in turn loving her sisters. So she then catches the fancy of the sea god Poseidon, who wants to have her for himself. And then once when he meets her in the temple of Athena, near where Medusa and her sisters live, he violates her, and Medusa lets him in exchange for sparing an innocent mortal girl. So Medusa here is portrayed as this innocent, sympathetic human. It is very refreshing to see in a sea of retellings where Medusa is considered as a goddess, as a monster, as someone with serpent hairs and vision or gaze that turns anyone to stone. She's then also considered very vicious in some retellings, but Natalie Haynes paints her with so much of sympathy and empathy and raises this question that who actually are monsters, and how we mortals define anything that we cannot understand, define anything that falls beyond our understanding or falls beyond our comprehension of, in terms of their appearance, in terms of their behavior. We term them as monsters. So who are actually monsters? And then there are different parts in this story. There are different chapters which are narrated by different characters, and each of them female characters, and each one of them given so much of depth and so much of realness. She portrays these female characters from Greek mythology, such as Andromeda, Cassiope, Danae, and she makes them real. she shows us their flaws also, along with their positive traits. And the depiction of female rage. So in the book Clytemnestra by Costanza Casati, which I reviewed in one of my previous videos, I gushed about how it shows female rage in all its glory, in all its raw, loud expression. In this book, female rage is shown in all its scale. For someone, it simmers within them, and then for someone, it's downright expression of rage, as in case of Uriel and Steno, and it's simmering. I also specifically loved how the book makes us question our definitions of monsters and our perception, our comprehension, our understanding of who can and cannot be loved. So there is an instance in which Athena and Hermes, these Greek gods, they describe these gorgons to Perseus, who beheads Medusa, right? They tell him that Medusa is mortal, but she is serpent-haired and that she has wings. So he finds her scary, he finds her monstrous, something abhorrent. And then when they tell Perseus that Medusa is well loved, he gets confused. Like, loved? Can something so monstrous be loved? And then Hermes questions him that who are you to decide who can and cannot be loved? And so it makes you question, you know. We are sometimes so materialistic. We sometimes perceive things at so much of surface level that we tend to find it easy to love things which are easy to look at, which are pleasant, and which is easy. So I loved that question, you know. I loved the book is a highly quotable book, you know. You go through it, and if you underline the quotes that you want to talk about, your pen will run out of ink, I think. Also, I found that most of the bookstagrammers or booktubers or booktalkers, they have a problem with how Perseus is portrayed in this book. So he's portrayed as this villain, you know, as someone comical who is trying to behead Medusa, and in order to save his mother, and he's considered as someone cowardly and pompous. My point of view in terms of how he's portrayed is that he's portrayed through the eyes of someone he wronged. In his story, he is a hero. He's doing it to save his mother. He is beheading whom he considers a monster. And in his world, the Gorgons are monsters. The Graii, whom he had to cheat to be able to find clues to defeat Medusa, they are monsters. So it's not wrong for him to defeat them or to harm them in any way. In his world, it's absolutely fine. In his world, he is the hero. But for those who he wronged, for Medusa, for her sisters, for the Graii, he is the villain. Of course they wouldn't like him, and this book is from their point of view. So if you are someone who is hurt by someone else to protect their mother, and he does so to prevent his mother getting married to a pompous king, right? So if I compare that to me, and if somebody is trying to hurt me to save their mother from being married to someone, then I'll be like, yeah, it's not a big deal, your mother marrying someone she doesn't want than me dying, right? But if you see it from his point of view, he is killing someone who is a monster. He is killing someone he has no sympathy, he has no empathy for. In his world, these are just creatures. They are not humane. So I get it that it's difficult to sort of merge these characters if you have read, you have grown up reading these stories which show Perseus as a hero, which he will be in his own story. But in the story of Medusa, in the story of these Gorgons, Poseidon is the villain. Sorry, Poseidon is the villain, but Perseus is the villain. And that's okay. in each of our stories, in each of our point of views, the villains, they keep on differing, and that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of retellings. So it was a fantastic read. It was something that I absolutely loved. The language is beautiful, contemplative, flowing, and the story I absolutely loved. So there's nothing to complain for me, and I absolutely loved this book actually. And I would rate it a solid 4.5 star. So if you are someone who's fond of Greek mythological retellings, and if you like such stories, then just go for it. If you have read this book, then let's discuss it in the comments. Talk to me. Anyway, many people don't watch my videos. Whoever does, just comment. And thank you if you have watched till now, and like this video, share it if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't yet. Thank you.